At the end of July 2022, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau issued a consent order against U.S. Bank National Association. The Bureau summarized their initial observations that the bank, in order to increase sales of certain consumer financial products or services, imposed sales goals and implemented financial incentives that rewarded employees for selling those products and services. Unfortunately, with sales activities and processes left unchecked, the Bureau also found that several compliance rules were violated and consumers were harmed. The end result? The Bureau fined the bank $37.5 million. So how did the bank go from incenting employees to sell to creating an environment resulting in unlawful practices? First, it's important to think about how this all started. As noted in the Bureau's findings, the bank incentivized employees to increase sales of certain consumer financial products and services. They did that by including sales goals within job descriptions, and those sales goals were a factor in evaluating employee performance. Also, an incentive program was implemented to financially reward employees for those sales. So at this point, one might think, we have sales goals at our institution, so what is the problem? Well, the Bureau observed that this program resulted in pressure being applied to those employees to reach their goals and obtain rewards. But it was noted that in response to that pressure, employees opened deposit accounts, submitted applications for and issued credit cards, and opened lines of credit linked to deposit account without consumers' knowledge and consent. The Bureau noted that at one point in time during the 10-year findings period, the bank did enhance its processes for account opening and retention of affirmative consent, which did result in some process improvement. Throughout the findings period from 2010 to 2020, the Bureau noted that the bank's processes were not reasonably designed to prevent improper sales acts or practices. So what is that? Well, improper sales acts or practices means applying for, opening, issuing, activating, or enrolling a consumer in, without the consumer's knowledge and consent, credit cards, premier lines of credit, reserve lines of credit, or deposit accounts. Besides the opening of non-authorized accounts, consumer harm was apparent in a variety of ways. For example, the charging of fees, negatively impacting consumer reports, loss of control over use of personal information, as well as expending time and effort to resolve unauthorized accounts. Another factor that exacerbated this environment was that when a consumer or employee alleged improper activity, it was noted that such allegations were only recorded or investigated if the allegation was escalated above the bank branch level. As such, many allegations were not escalated or acknowledged. The Bureau's related press release highlighted various violations with the Consumer Financial Protection Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Truth in Lending Act, and the Truth in Savings Act. With specific regard to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it was observed that certain activities involved the use of consumers' credit report without a permissible purpose and without its customers' permission to facilitate the opening of unauthorized accounts. With regards to the Consumer Financial Protection Act, Truth in Lending, and Truth in Savings, those violations were tied to opening accounts without permission and without providing disclosures. So what can an institution take away from this enforcement action? While reading the Bureau's consent order will be helpful, some questions to consider in your own environment might include the first, how is my compensation plan documented in either policy, procedures, or job descriptions? Second, do those documentary controls clearly include a prohibition against opening accounts without a permissible purpose or authority? Third, what controls are in place to ensure a customer authorized an account opening? Fourth, are Fair Credit Reporting Act related policies and procedures robust enough to ensure credit reports are not used for non-permissible purposes? Fifth, what controls are in place to ensure credit reports are obtained only with a permissible purpose? And sixth, Do complaint procedures limit reporting in a manner which would keep allegations from being seen by anyone above the branch level? In closing, an institution should consider whether their incentive program is an environment ripe for improper sales acts or practices to occur, or an environment that is supported by clear documentation and effective controls that support proper sales practices and compliance. If you have questions or would like additional information about the Bureau's enforcement action, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.